We are live. In this video, we are going to be storefront stalking Amazon sellers and rating their stores. We're going to be taking a look at a lot of different types of sellers. We're going to be taking a look at sellers all the way from probably just started to absolute monster sellers with hundreds of thousands of feedback. So without further ado, let's get started. What's up, RW? Good to see you, man. Let's go ahead and share my screen. And also my apologies for the reschedule of the stream. I went hiking just now and the descent was much more dangerous than I thought it was going to be and it took a lot longer than I thought. So, but without further ado, let's get started. So we're kind of just starting from basically a listing that has a lot of demand. There's also a lot of different directions that we can go with this listing because as you can see, there are several different variations. Some are more relevant than others, like this one is less relevant. A bunch of different colors, 139 in office products. So these absolutely fly. Seller Amp is showing us 15,000 estimated sales per month over the whole listing. And so a quick tip that I discovered several months ago is I think a lot of us know that the sales rank is just for the entire listing. And so you have to go to the variations to figure out how fast the item's selling. But another way of doing that is we're on the black one right now. We can go to offers tab and we can kind of get a gauge for what the velocity is like just by looking at the offers tab and kind of seeing like how many of these are getting sold on the regular basis. This number is 100% not accurate completely, but it does give us a ballpark that this item is definitely selling. So let's go ahead and find a seller from here. We could do this with Seller Amp. We could do this just by clicking here. We could do this with the offers tab. We could go however we want. But we'll click into, actually, we'll use Seller Amp. And scroll down. So for me personally, when I storefront stock, I want to make sure that I am storefront stocking someone who is doing a similar business model to me. It's going to be hard to exactly pick the perfect store right off the bat. But I mean, I FBA, I completely FBA. So I would probably pick someone who's, FBAing. I wouldn't pick an FBM seller necessarily because, like they're not even doing the same business model. So let's go ahead and check out this Yummy's Gravy store with 4 feedback. So slightly newer seller. But they do have 4 feedback, so they're probably doing this somewhat seriously. And before we get into this, I'm going to go ahead and check the chat. We got Josiah. Yo, good to see you. What's good, Seth? Good to see you, Josiah. What have you been up to? RW says, love the TI-84. Yeah, and there's like a ton of different directions you can go with the TI-84. There's a ton of different model numbers. A ton of different people are selling this type of thing. So in this 4 feedback store, we can see a few things when we're storefront stocking. And this is something that you can do if you have a specific type of item that you're looking for that you like to sell profitably. You can rule out people's stores super quickly because, like, let's say like we're looking at a lot of these and we're seeing a lot of toys. So if you don't sell toys and you're like, yeah, that's not my vibe at all, we can just click off of the store immediately. Yeah, we see like toys and games. They have 16 products. Sports and outdoors, they have 12 products. Movies and TV, 2 products. And I have no clue why it doesn't pick up this TI-84. So this guy really likes his Legos. We get it. Probably, I have a feeling for some reason this guy's doing like RA. I don't know, maybe not. He also has the TI-83 Plus. So we started on the TI 84 Plus, and even though this guy is not really selling a lot of the same type of product, we did scroll down and almost immediately find a very similar product to this, the TI 83 Plus. So let's go ahead and open this in Amazon and see what's going on with this. And from experience and knowledge in the category, like this is another good listing. It's not 100 ranked, it's 6,000 ranked, but still sells a lot of units per month, 642. And if you guys noticed on the other one, Amazon was in stock, and it looks like they're often in stock. It looks like they sometimes go out of stock. Well, okay, it's too confusing with all these lines here. Yeah, so I mean, Amazon is almost always in stock here. But this one still gets 642 sales per month. But yet Amazon's on this much less, which is a big deal. They still are on it quite a bit, actually. Yeah. But I mean, we can see here. So this pink line here is the buy box. The yellow line is Amazon, and it looks like people are just cutting Amazon, and there's a steady flow of people getting sales underneath Amazon and still getting the buy box. Like we looked at this TI 83 Plus CE data offers tab, and I remember that Amazon was getting most of the sales. We're going to click off of, why is the new getting so few sales? That's so interesting. Maybe there's just not as many stock as new. But I mean, in general, regardless, Amazon is taking a lot of these sales, a big percentage of these sales. I'm curious what it is on this. They're still taking quite a bit, but not as high of a percentage. Like this person's getting 93, 40, almost 40, 30. So you can definitely come in here and get sales with these. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing screen for just 1 second so that we can check the chat. We got T-Smoke. Let's go. Good to see you, T-Smoke. Entrepreneur says, got in a bunch of purchases this morning. Now it's Turo time. Car number 7 is officially live, and just in time because it's almost April. And for those of you guys who don't know, Josiah Entrepreneur lives in Alaska, and basically from there they end up having a really strong tourist season in late spring into the summer. So they do Turo. They have 7 cars now, which is nuts. Daniel Hernandez says, between the 30-day offers tab and seller amp monthly sell total, how do you decide how many to buy when they can be so different? Yeah, that's a good question. We could dive into that if you want. Let me go ahead and share my screen. The how many to buy is a really complicated question. And it's also subjective because it depends on a lot of different things. Like let's say you found a deal that was like right at your minimum ROI. And so it's like you would have wished that it would be higher ROI, but it's super low ROI. Maybe you're not going to purchase as many items in that case. Well, definitely you're not going to purchase as many items in that case. Whereas let's say you found these at Target clearance for $20 each. And let's say we did the analysis of this and we think we could sell 25 of these a month, but your minimum ROI requirement is, let's say, 40%. I would not only purchase 25 of these at this ROI, or even a slightly worse ROI. Like if you get an ROI that's just like absolutely killer, and you know that the listing is going to sell, I would buy a couple months worth of stock. But just to kind of think about like, all right, how many of these could we purchase and sell within a month? What I usually do is this. So I look at Jungle Scout. This is just the way that I do it. I don't think there's 100% correct way to do this. But I would look at the Keepa, and there is one extra thing going on here. On this listing, this is a seasonal listing. So if we see the sales rank here, you see the green line here. It sells all the time, but it really sells during September and January. We see how the sales rank always comes down to like 2K in those textbook season times. And then when it's not that time, it's sitting anywhere between 5 and 10,000. So that's another thing to consider too, because like right now, if you were to purchase them and send them in, it'll probably be around mid-April to May by the time they're inbound and active. So I would probably assume that it's going to be off season when you're selling these. And therefore I would put this average bestsellers rank at somewhere like 7,000. And then I would choose this. And then I would choose office because this is office products. And then I would estimate the sales. Usually this is free and you don't have to keep doing this, but I'm just going to put my email in there. Online arbitrage. And you could always unsubscribe from their emails. Usually you can do this like 10 times per day. So this is saying 1320 for the whole listing. There's no variations. Seller amp is saying 642. Offers tab is saying offers tab is saying like 270. So both of these are much lower than what this is saying. So I'll kind of just take an average of them. It's almost impossible to know. I would probably just say, maybe this will sell 650 times a month. I don't know. It depends on how conservative you want to be. We'll just say 650. So 650 sales per month. And then we look at how many competitive sellers there are. And because I'm explaining everything, this process is taking a while. Once you've done it a couple of times, it actually does not take this long. So we filtered by prime and new. And we have our good man Yummy's Gravy store. So we're basically just looking for whoever's competitive here. This guy's way too competitive. This guy's in the buy box. So 3, 4, and then maybe 5. And then they have some stock. A couple of them have some stock. So maybe I'd say like, just to be super conservative, like 8 sellers. So 650 divided by 8. So like 80 a month. And like that was being conservative. So I'd go pretty deep on this if you find this profitably. The thing is sometimes with these super competitive, fast selling listings, it's harder to find stuff at a really good ROI. But yeah, I'd probably purchase anywhere between 50 and 80 of these. Hopefully that helps, Daniel. What's up, Andrew? Good to see you. We got the used item king. I will not say your Amazon name. I almost said your Amazon name. Sorry about that. RW says, got to run, Seth. Doctor's appointment. I forgot. Thanks for coming. Good to see you. Hope you have a good appointment. We got Sam M. A product was selling at good to 90. A product was selling 100 to 95 consistently for over a year. Now some sellers came in for half the price and buy box is theirs. What to do now? That actually happened not quite that dramatically, but like recently something similar happened like that to me. And thankfully it's a fast selling item, and I'm just going to wait it out. Sometimes you just have to wait it out, honestly. Hopefully your entire sourcing budget wasn't stuck in that, but yeah, I mean, that just happens sometimes. I recently put out a video titled how to avoid selling items that tank. And sometimes when an item tanks, there were things that we could have done better in it. Oftentimes it was a situation where it was a really good deal. And like you're saying, it had been consistent for over a year. But sometimes it's just slightly too easy to get bulk of that item. Potentially this person got a huge liquidation deal of this item, and they're going to sell out. And they're lowering the price to half because they want to sell quickly all of their stock. So, I mean, there's not a ton you can do after the fact. You can either, one, match them and sell out and move on. Hopefully it's not too much of a loss. Or you take a small loss and move on. Or if you think it's better, you can wait it out. Hopefully they don't have too much stock. If they don't have too much stock and it's a fast moving item, like just wait a couple of days, they'll be sold out. The winds of change. Yo, good to see ya. Raspy, yo, good to see you, man. Yeah, the winds of change is saying move on. It happens to everyone. Like, it's a bummer. Like, there was an item that I was like super stoked about. Like, it was a product line. And like, it looked like they were going to be discontinued. It looked like I was going to be able to get a lot of them. It looked like they were going to sell fast. There wasn't much competition. And then this one guy like got a huge amount of stock on all of them and listed it around 60 to 70% of what the listing was at, which is a bummer because they were selling quickly and I was paying up to get a lot of these and sell these. So I'm just going to hold. I think this guy, he doesn't have that much. He might even be sold out by now, but sometimes you're just gonna have to sit on stuff for a couple months. Daniel Hernandez says, thank you. A test buy really seems like the best way to go before you go deep. Yeah, it's a risk versus reward analysis on every single purchase that you're making. Because, like if it's such a good ROI, but you can tell it's going to be a one-time deal, like you probably should go deep if you have the confidence. But then you can also screw yourself over if you go deep and you're wrong. So I try to take advantage of those really good opportunities. But it's risk versus reward. It's a whole risk analysis thing. And like, if you take those risks and they're calculated in the right way, you're going to make a lot of more money in the long term. And then sometimes some random person is just going to have a lot of stock of it, and it sucks. And we got 11 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. And I'm going to keep answering questions here. We got Josh Johnson. If someone comes in at a crazy, crazy low price, buy them out and resell it for the OG price. Yeah, I mean, if they're half price, I mean, a lot of my products, like I literally buy for half price and then sell for double. Usually that works out. Like, for example, with these TI 84s, let's look at the CE Plus. So like, let's say the trending price to sell new, Yeah, I mean, it's very consistently at 107, and you could go higher. With this type of item that's so fast, if you do get stock of this, I would strongly consider listing at the higher price, because like if you have one or two of these, like you can wait another 4 days to sell it at 120 rather than 107. But we're just going to say 110 for this example. We're just talking about buying from Amazon, buying from your competitors. So at 110, what's half of 110? 105, right? Or 55, right? I can't do math right now. Yeah, 55. I mean, that's 60% ROI. That's great. Yeah, have you considered buying them out? I don't know how high ticket it is. Because like if you go on this one and do the same thing, let's say it's I think it was like 75 or something. 76. Half of 76 is what? Get my calculator out. $38. I mean, yeah, that's still great. Yeah, why don't you buy? How much do they have? Can you buy them out? Do you think they're going to get more? That's a good point. The Winds of Change is saying, I've been on Amazon over a decade. Items that were good yesterday won't always be good today, and vice versa. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if an item is good for a year, like that's a blessing. That's great. And rake it in while it's good. And then hopefully while it's good, you were thinking about what are other items similar to that you could be selling. I would storefront stock the people on that listing, because they very well could have found other similar types of things to what you were looking at before. And potentially they're able to find those really consistent ones that you just don't know about yet. We got T-Smoke saying, what would you do if the brand appears on the listing after you? That's a good question. There's a couple situations with that. So sometimes the brand comes on the listing afterwards and they are really not competitively listed at all. So there's actually an example of that I could show you here. Or at least as far as I know, I think this is not the right one. There's another one. There's a Nanit baby monitor. Yeah, here we go. It makes a big difference how competitive on the listing the brand is being. This is one that I'd probably still stay away from just because I'm super safe. I don't really want to deal with any issues. But filtered by new, I mean, everyone's new. But like the lowest price is Amazon with 1,000 in stock at 300. Well, the buy box is. And usually Nanit's the most expensive, but I guess everyone's up at 300. Yeah, so when I've looked at this in the past, Nanit has been the most expensive by far, and they just sit in stock. They don't really change their price. They don't really look like they care. We look at the Keepa here, and it's at the highest price that it's been in a long time. It seems like it goes down and then up. And right now it's at the up. And Nanit just sits there at 300. So this is one where I would feel safer to sell it on, but it's still a risk. Like Nanit is definitely not just like dominating this. They've sold like 15 in the last 30 days. But like this random tech stat has sold 60. So that's a situation where I'd be like, maybe I will just sell out like I was going to, and I'm not going to restock. It kind of just depends on like what the brand is doing, what their behavior is. Like, are you getting letters from them? Has a friend of yours ever received an IP claim from the brand? That's really helpful. And that's helped me a couple of times. I'll see the brand comes on the listing, and then I'll send a message to a few people that I know and say, hey, have you ever received an IP claim from X? That's super helpful. We have Sam M in the chat. I can't talk. Sam N. Customers return for high ticket item. How do you deal with the loss? Both Andrew and I have dealt with this. But I mean, usually what I would do is, thankfully, 9 out of 10 times you get a return, the customer returns it, and Amazon just lets it get relisted back in your inventory. And then there's going to be some times where it's quote unquote unfulfillable. Amazon says that it's really not the right condition to be sold. So in those situations, it's really bad for cash flow, but it's okay. You just have it sent back to your house or your prep center or whatever you want to do. And you kind of just look and see like, hey, is this item still new? Does this still work? And even 9 out of 10 times, those are still sellable and you can just send them back in. If they're not, that stinks. You can liquidate on eBay or you can just write it off as a loss, which sucks. But I mean, hopefully the profit margins were there to justify that. Because like if you're just ripping these like 13% ROI electronics that are new in the box, like, yeah, your returns are probably going to screw you over. But if they're really good ROI, they're selling fast, not that many people return them. And when they do, they're still pretty much new. They just didn't want it. And you can resell them for the same price. Like that's not that big of an issue. So let's go ahead and Storefront stock some more because we've been doing a lot of learning, but not too much Storefront stocking. So we kind of looked at this guy's store. He doesn't have that much. I really am not a Lego person at all. I understand there's potential there, but that is not my business model whatsoever. So we are going to see if we can just hop on to one of these sellers' stores. We're just going to keep looking for like more and more profitable calculators that sell quickly, I suppose, because that's kind of what we started with here. So we got this guy. We just looked at him. FBM. This guy probably has some good calculators, but he's FBM. So we could choose whether we want to Storefront stock him or not. I'm going to look at an FBA seller, honestly. Fanny's Gifts. So we got a bigger seller here. Let's just go ahead. Oh, do we want to look at a really big seller? The corner store. Yeah, let's take a look at this store. So the jump from 4 feedback to 1,200 feedback is huge. I don't know if anyone in the chat right now, if your store has 1,200 feedback, I'd be very surprised. 1,200 feedback is, they've been pushing some volume for a long time. Like I know sellers who have been selling for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they have like 400 feedback. So keep that in mind when you're Storefront stocking. Like, how helpful is it going to be looking through a store that has that much experience and feedback? Like, yes, it's good to learn from the best, but also it's not really relatable. And like this person probably has a warehouse or like does something higher level that you and I aren't doing, which is good if you're in that same boat. But a lot of these products probably aren't even going to make sense for us because we don't have the same infrastructure that they do. And like, I don't really sell pet products at all. Although like this person really seems to like their pet products. Let's look at the overview real quick. So pet supplies, they love pet supplies. They have 22 office products. So let's look at the office products because I don't really give a care about pet supplies. Maybe I'd care about tools. Automotive would be an interesting category to get into, but we're going to try to stay focused because like if we're like, oh, maybe we can find a couple good pet pet products, and then, oh, maybe we can find some toys, and then maybe we can find some home and kitchen. Like, it's not focused enough. And like, just looking at this person's store right now, we could probably sell a lot of these. So we are getting, there's a couple of things I'm noticing here. This person really likes Epson. They also like Brother. And they really like toner. Ink. So basically there's this person, big seller, who's like, I like selling ink. So maybe that general idea is worth looking into. I personally am slightly scared of selling tons of ink because I've heard bad things about counterfeit issues. But I mean, a smarter seller than I am, probably, I'm assuming they're making money to continue selling at this volume, is saying that they love ink. So potentially maybe they're buying from the store, maybe they have a clearance operation, maybe they're doing eBay to Amazon and it works just fine for them. I don't know. But they do love their ink. How is that an office product? It's not an office product. They got some Canon. A lot of brands that a lot of people are gated in. Yeah, so they like their ink toner in the $30 to $150 range. I guess only this one is expensive. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the chat real quick. We got 12 people in the chat. Thank you guys for hanging out. We're going to keep Storefront stalking. So we were kind of looking for more calculators, and we actually do have one more calculator here, which is another similar calculator to what we were looking at before, which is the TI-84 Plus. So let's take a look at that one. So again, we have another very similar item to what we found before. Very low ranked in office products and a calculator. This one is pretty strange though. Seller Amp is kind of bugging out on it with the sales rank, and it's not giving us an estimated sales. And Keepa is, I've been on this listing, like looked at this listing before, and Keepa kind of bugs out on it. But I mean, something this low ranked definitely sells. We have 143 sellers on this listing. A lot of people really like this listing. So this is a nice honey hole of, if you're able to find this profitably, this is a very good, consistent seller that a lot of people are buying. So unfortunately, there's no Keepa, because I would love to go and take a look from here when we find a listing like this that people are probably selling this over and over again. And if your business model is like selling calculators in bulk, what you could do is you could go to the offers tab and see like who is selling a lot of these calculators, and you could storefront stock their store to learn from them. Unfortunately, there's no offers tab right now, but what we could do is take a look at the new sellers on this. Maybe we'll take a look at another seller store, because we kind of looked at a 4 feedback seller and we looked at 1,000 feedback seller, and finding something somewhere in between would be cool. This would be funny. But let's just look at that for fun. We're gonna take a look at that. I know they're FBM, but like, let's look through this seller that has 7 feedback at 14% ROI. Why not? All right, so we got Jay Wells. Calculator didn't work. Paid for 6 tiles, received only 1 tile. Oh boy. They don't remove their feedback either. Where's their storefront? Can we not see the storefront? I'm curious, does anybody know why this happens on occasion? Every once in a while, you'll click into someone's storefront and there will just be no store. Maybe they're banned because they have so low feedback. Poor Jennifer. Should make sure your calculators work. I'm curious, does anybody know why that happens? We got T-Smoke in the chat. Are there specific brands and items you avoid due to counterfeit claims? I got one with Ted Baker aftershave and don't think I'll touch any aftershave perfume again. Actually, just curious. I'm going to pull up a Ted Baker and see why something like that might have happened. I guess I've never really sold. I don't even know. Where is it? Ted Baker. That's a bag. Ted Baker. But just to go ahead and be more precise, it's pretty easy to fake like toner, liquid, you know. It's pretty easy to fake like perfume. What else? Some DVDs are easy to fake. That's why Steve Rakin often stays away from under 10,000 rank, because he's trying to stay away from the ones that counterfeiters would want to fake. Let's see what else. There were these, it was like an industrial item. It's called a caliper, that a ton of people in the reviews and on YouTube were saying that people were receiving fakes. So I stay away from those now. I've heard of some issues with like high-end barcode scanners. But I mean, yeah, hopefully that helps. We got Gokhan Abra. Storefront Stalking app. Love this always, Seth. You are great, my friend. Go check out Gohan, because he has a really cool Amazon FBA page, especially if you are located in Turkey, I believe, right? Has really good Amazon content specifically for Turkish sellers. So go check him out. Ted Baker, Zonix, Zag Silver, 100 milliliters. Let's give it a shot. Alrighty. I can't remember anything, so tonics. Tonics, Zag Silver, 100 milliliters. Is that Ted Baker? I mean, I've just never. Oh, another thing that tends to get counterfeited a lot is like really high-end shoes. And I also know that apparel customers, especially like people who are like sneakerheads or whatever, and they buy their shoes, I've just heard that apparel sellers get a lot of counterfeit claims. So I personally will probably never do apparel eBay to Amazon, because that's just setting myself up to get a counterfeit claim that I can't defend, you know? Yeah, so unfortunately I wasn't able to find that, but I mean, perfume is a riskier category for sure. unfortunately. Because perfume would be great because it's just little packages, super easy to ship, cheap shipping, nice margins. Sounds great. But just know, like, if you do that, it is going to be higher risk. Let's go ahead and find another storefront to take a look at, because this 14 feedback seller did not work out. So we're in Fanny's 1,000 feedback store. Let's look at somebody else. Cell phone seller. Let's look at an FBA seller. So that guy is 200 feedback. Yeah, let's look at this guy. Speaking of Baker Deals with a Z. So clicking into a 37 feedback seller. This guy or girl probably is a decently serious seller. Yeah, I mean, sorry, I really needed some chapstick. They love their apparel. You see how they are selling almost completely apparel. They're selling TI 84s, some syrup, and apparel. What on earth is this, though? Let's take a look here. For some reason, this just strikes me as like some trendy, vibey type item. Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah, take a look at that. A ton of people found this. Oh, and poor guy. He's listed at $20, but it is not $20. And it's not that bad. He might actually get some sales every once in a while. And people are coming down off of it too. Wow. So, I mean, this was just cranking for a long time. Very consistent sell. And the price went up. A ton of people found this, and people are now going off of this. Let's see if we can find this. So right now it's around 17. We'll just call it like, oh, but this guy has buy box at $22. No way. We have buy box at $22. That doesn't make much sense. I mean, I guess we're way up here. That's so weird. I don't know. I wouldn't think that, like, oh, we're gonna sell this for sure at $21, $22. Where'd my seller amp go? We're gonna reload the page. It should just pop up again. But yeah, let's see if we can find this profitably. I mean, 130 people found this profitably, so there was probably a pretty large opportunity to purchase these. I want my seller amp to come up. That would be great. Because it's nice to just, click the Google button, but we're just going to do it super, super old school. Were people literally just purchasing right here? For $7, $8 sold out. Yeah. And that's probably why people are coming off the listing for $8. It's a bestseller. Or is it this? Oh, people were purchasing for $5. Oh. Yeah, so people were making some money on this. And this guy is probably making money if he purchased at $5. I mean, that's why people were small and lighting this for $10. And they're probably, why did nobody come in and do a $12 small and light for this? Because $12 small and light would, it's not that good. Oh, it's a pound. So $4.95. So that's not very good. Small and light. That's garbage. But at $19, that's a great product. So this is one. I'm not really in the scene of trying to monitor for when things come back in stock, but I know some people are. This would probably be one. These probably come in stock, and people slowly but surely, some people very quickly find this. Some people find it eventually, and a ton more people come in stock. But while everyone is coming in stock, you have a long time, if you're first to the punch, to get some sales, sell out, and then let these people over here do their thing that were too late to the party. I don't really monitor for stuff like this. I do eBay to Amazon, but people are definitely making some money from this. We just analyzed the heck out of this guy's stuff, and he's selling another one as well. It's probably the same story. Yeah. So, I mean, oftentimes like people talk about like, oh, you need to search through the stores of like the people with like hundreds of feedback, but like this guy has some trendy good stuff. He's probably in the know. He probably like pretty good at Amazon. I mean, if those are his only good items, that's a problem for him. But yeah, I'm curious. So if we go to this guy's store, kind of want to just take a look at his storefront. Like, I feel like the type of people who are in like a Discord group or like have other Amazon seller friends are able to figure out when those items come back in stock and know about those items. Just some random guy doing this on his own probably isn't as easily. So where is this guy? Baker Deals. Baker Deals LLC. Well, it doesn't help. I was just hoping it would be someone that I know from Instagram, but maybe it is. We got KB Flips, King Checkmate. Good to see you, man. That drink looks disgusting. Yeah, but disgusting profit, though. I don't really care if it looks disgusting. I'll sell it. But yeah, I honestly was just looking at the data. I didn't really even look at like what I like to drink this. So let's take a look. So we got Jordan's Skinny Syrups, sugar-free. Mermaid Citrus. Ew. Look at that Mermaid Citrus. No sugar. Means it has other great things in there for our consumption. Sounds great. We got Daniel Hernandez. I remember you saying you like to start your sourcing at 7 a.m. When you first start, what does that process look like? For example, do you like to start with checking your email for deals or RS? For me right now, this is how my sourcing goes. I am in the process of training my virtual assistant to do a majority of the sourcing for me. So right now she's purchasing anywhere from a third to half of our sourcing budget, which is a really exciting place to be. So I'm starting the day with reviewing the email that she sent to me. With every purchase that she's making, I'm wanting her to kind of just give me a sentence explaining like why I purchased this. Like it was 63% ROI. Seems like it'll sell at least 5 units a month. Like to kind of just understand like why she purchased it, and kind of make sure that I'm liking the purchases that she's making. I also leave comments on her purchases. I also make sure that she has entered the items into the prep center sheet. So like I'll do that. It'll take me anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes usually. And then usually at that point, I have some items that I'm on the lookout for. So I'll look for those items myself. I'll also load up maybe like Flipmine or something, or try to go through my replenishable sheet and try to, like find the items that we're looking to find. So from there, I'll do that for a little while. But at this point, like I'm trying as much as possible to, because like I've been reselling since like 2019. And for a long time, I've treated this as I'm self-employed. I can make money. This is a high paying job or low paying job if you're new. But right now I am trying to be more in the business owner / investor quadrant. I don't know if you guys have read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Nagasaki. I don't even know if I said it right. But he has a principle where there are 4 different types of people when it comes to their work and their career. There is the employed, there is the self-employed, there is the business owner, and there's the investor. And so most of the time, this is not always true, but the employed and the self-employed end up making less money potentially, or at least their hourly is not as good. Whereas, a business owner, I'm trying to like do this so it actually makes sense on the screen. A business owner like has a system that runs that makes him money, and he manages it, or as he gets better and better in the system, he is hiring and training managers to do the managing of the system that makes him money. And an investor uses his money to make money. So a great example of this is if you have a ton of money in the S&P 500 and it makes 8% after inflation per year, that could make you a lot of money. That could pay your bills if you have a lot of money in there. Doing Amazon with $5,000 versus doing Amazon with $100,000 is much, much different. You can do a lot of things with a lot more money and save a lot of time and make more money. So I am trying to be more so a business owner and an investor, and then spending less of my time with Amazon. This is a long rant, but right now I'm trying to spend 10 to 15 hours a week max on my Amazon store, and trying to, like delegate it, because that's a skill. We got Raspy. Hi. Check Discord DM. Kiyosaki. Yeah, man. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that was a nice long rant. But yeah, that's kind of what my sourcing looks like. Trying to just train as much as possible, because that's just what I want to do at this point. Okay, for a beginner in OA sourcing, where would you recommend we spend most of our time sourcing? Reverse sourcing softwares like TA, Source Mogul, deal sourcing. Raspy saying stock some A to A guys. It depends on like what method have you found that you actually, make money with. Like for me, I don't really do the whole like having an email address where people are sending, like companies are sending me like, oh, we're having a sale on Friday. And you like monitor those and you purchase from those. Like that's a business model. People make a lot of money from that, but that's not me. But that's a great way to do it. So you could go ahead and try that. For me, I do eBay to Amazon. And what I do is I find items that have demand on Amazon, and then I look to see if there is a pattern of them getting sold a lot on eBay, and then I purchase them. And I'm on the lookout for them. But a lot of people don't like that method, so you don't have to do that method. Some people, they swear by RA and they know how to get really good deals with RA. They have relationships with managers. They go to stores that not everyone's going to, and they kill it with RA. That's another business model. Some people purchase from Amazon when there's massive dips, and they purchase it all out and they sell it back on Amazon. That doesn't have to be your business model, but like Raspy likes it. Jameson Philippi, a 7-figure toy seller, does that like for his main business model, and he does great with it. I would suggest as a beginner, like try a few of those different methods out. Try reverse sourcing, maybe give TA like a couple day try. Maybe look for coupons, and kind of see like what feels like you're like enjoying doing it. Because the thing that's going to make you money, you're probably also going to enjoy. And then like, what are you finding? Like, are you actually finding deals with one of these more over the other? Like, does one click with you? And maybe try and delve deeper into that, learn more specifics about that. And then from there, you can build a whole schedule for yourself in a way that works for you. We got Ryan Lowe. What is the benefit of buying from eBay instead of retail stores like Walmart or Target? It's because you're buying from a casual business owner a lot of the time, and it's not freaking Walmart or Target. And they found a way to source it for much cheaper, and they sell it for much cheaper in some cases. And it's just a place where a lot of people come, they bring their goods, they sell them. It's easy to sell them. You don't have to have a brick and mortar, and you can just purchase from them. That's what I like to do. Daniel says, okay, thank you. I'm having a lot of luck on Source Mogul at the moment. Like, see, like I've never even used Source Mogul, but I've heard of it and I've heard really good things about it. If it's a similar thing to tactical arbitrage, I would probably consider, like, I would use it, but I would probably not purchase super, super deep because sometimes people like have their VAs like looking on places like tactical arbitrage, and like a couple big sellers find the item and the item goes down a little bit. Still a really good way to make some money. You can get in there, make your money, and move on. Yeah, I just wouldn't go super deep, but like it's probably a great way. Have you ever bought Amazon return pallets? Thoughts on it? I actually considered doing that last week. I didn't end up doing it. It sounds pretty manual. Like it sounds almost like RA, except you're doing the sorting at your own house. And it sounds risky as well. It sounds very much like gambling almost. Like, ooh, is there going to be a lot of money in this pallet? Could be good. I mean, honestly, it probably is good. I think people do it. You also are going to have to be a jack of all trades. You're going to have to sell a lot of different stuff if you do pallets, which if you're good with it, like that's great. It's getting dark in here. There we go. You can share the leads to the masses if you like. Let's see if I can just think of one off the bat. I mean, if you guys are willing to do your own prep, like I had really good success finding these. I think we still have the listing up. Yeah, the TI 83 pluses. I've definitely found these used before. So if we look at the buy box for used, $38, sometimes goes up to like $50. We'll just call it $39. If we want 40% ROI, we need to get this for $20. So we can go ahead and look at this on eBay. This is a janky UPC right here. That's not going to work. Oh, we got some notifications. My VA is working. She's doing great. She purchased a $350 profit item yesterday. I was stoked for her. She did so well. That was just like I just applauded her. She did amazing. Was very proud of her. So like here's one. You're gonna have to do an auction. Probably want to find one that we can just purchase right now. Yeah, for parts or repairs. So if you're sorting by lowest first, that's good. You're gonna have to sort out the for parts items, but that's okay. For parts, not working. No cover, no battery panel. Okay, that's not gonna be good. Display issues. Yeah, so this is the next thing that happens. So that would probably be a used acceptable. So you could sell this. It's just not going to be amazing customer service, but it's good ROI. So this is $14.65. If you sell it for the lowest of the low price here, $34. That's 61% ROI. So there's one right there. Let's think of another example. I have sold Zebra thermal printers before, and there are a lot of different models. There's this one, there's this one. And what's nice about these is that they're higher ticket too. There's this one, and all these are like really, they're not TI 84 ranked, but they do sell quick. Yeah, there's this one. So like we're looking at like this, like you're not going to find a, what is it? A $300 profit or $80 profit TI 83, but you can find some consistent base hits with these. But with like higher ticket stuff, which is why I like higher ticket stuff, where was I? Where did our stuff go? Here we go. These are higher tickets. So when you find a deal, you're actually going to make some money here. So like all of these are ideas that you could source from eBay. I find that with these, I've looked at a lot of these, and it's easier to find the used ones rather than the new ones, but sometimes you can find a new one and do really well with it. So let's just take like this one, for example, and we'll just consider the used for a minute. So 320 new, 209 used, very good. If we want the buy box used, buy box was introduced around here. So pretty consistent, 212, call it, sure. So if you want 40% ROI, you need a 132 buy cost. So we come here to eBay. Sometimes it's janky like this. Zebra GK420D. We'd want to make sure that it has the cords so that customer is going to be happy and that it works. So this is, they're selling it for parts, but they printed a test page. So potentially if you want to do something a little bit more manual here, you could purchase this and then buy cords because they're saying that it's working. Roller, the roller is not included. So it helps if you have a little bit of specific knowledge, but like see how in that bottom section, there's supposed to be a roller here. As you get more and more familiar with your items, you're gonna like understand that. So So, I mean, this might be a deal right here. It looks like it has the cords. I think it might not have the adapter because that doesn't look like the adapter. Assuming this had the adapter, this would be close to a deal. But basically the point is people are selling these at a profitable price. No power supply. Let's see if we can find one that actually has the power supply. A lot of her parts, printer only. So he has a mangle of cords here, AC and USB. So that one is $116.40. 68 bucks. So, and if we like, here's another one. Here's another one. So, I mean, those are some opportunities that you can go after as well. We got Brian's in the chat. Hi, I am a new Amazon seller. Just wondering if there are any tools you recommend for buying on eBay and selling to Amazon. 100% Keepa, because you're going to be spending a lot of money. I would make sure that you understand Keepa super well before you start spending a lot of money. Yeah, just make sure that you understand Keepa. Flipmine is pretty good, I've heard. I've also heard that you can do tactical arbitrage with seller stores. Also, SellerAmp for understanding the fees is really good. Yeah, so just some of those. Yeah. But really what you can do is find an item, kind of like what I just did, like find an item on Amazon that has demand and then see if it sells on eBay. Like just do that with 100 items and like you will find items. With that though, it's been 1 hour and 7 minutes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This has been fun. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Take care.